Seal One is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. Use the code LEADHEAD for a 25% off discount.
My levels are way off. I haven't even touched anything, and they're off. State-of-the-art equipment I got here at the lead quarters.
What did you touch?
I don't know. Ken, you're in for a treat.
Sounds like it.
Ken is in for a treat. Tons in Knoxville. As you can see, he's got a beautiful hotel room there. Look at that art. That's like typical hotel art.
Yeah, this is the typical, absolute horrible hotel art. Yeah.
What hotel? Which hotel chain is that?
Marriott.
Mm.
A man of class.
Yeah. The decor is vomit from the floor to the wall.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's cute.
Looks like you've had a nap over there on the bed. You got the pillows all stacked up.
That is, you walk in from the flight, throw your luggage on the bed, fall face first, and debate on actually getting up to move. And when you do, you drag your carcass off and slowly get to your feet and walk out of the room in depression.
Well, I'm looking forward to coming up and hanging with you and Coop and Evan's coming into town.
Floodman, hell yeah.
Floodman, Munitions, and Bildo, Teabaggins is coming too.
Sweet.
So, good time.
This is not going to be safe.
Good time at the GOA, what they call it, goals.
Yeah, goals.
I don't know what that stands for. Gun Owner of America, what?
Conference or something. Goals. Just call it goals.
The A and the S stand for something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But just like every other acronym, I kind of gave up after the first letter.
Yeah. So this is their second annual. Are you going to the range day?
No, I am not. Thank God.
Okay.
Yeah, that's burning of unnecessary calories watching people stand around. If I want to go shoot one of the firearms, I want to get a hold of the company and try to go visit them. But yeah, battling it out for the backpack warriors, no, I'm good.
But are they even having it?
Yep, they're having range day tomorrow.
Okay. So as we're recording this is Wednesday, October the 6th. I am headed up Friday. I'll be up there Friday. And the actual convention is what, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday. Friday's media day, where all the media gets to actually come visit the booths, then open to the public Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. And that is at the Knoxville Convention Center, Knoxville, Tennessee. So if any of you lead heads want to come out, I will be at the Firebird Targets booth with Ton and walking around. And there's going to be, I think there's a lot of companies that are showing up.
Yes, it's going to be a really good show. It's actually one of my more favorite of all the trade shows of the year. I look forward to going to Goals. Unlike going to the shit show, aka SHOT Show, this show is actually productive. You get to actually do business, see vendors you want to see, hang out, and get true commerce done. It is.
I think this is more like NRA than SHOT Show.
Yeah, this is, you actually get to do real business, visit with the true end user, people that are interested in product. You don't get a bunch of patch jockeys there that just want to go around and grab swag and run and don't give two shits. You actually get to deal with real end users, and it's a delight to actually be here.
You said patch jockeys.
Yeah.
That's funny. So I'm just going down the list here to see who all's here or going to be there. AmericanSnipers.org. Angry Bear Arms. Never heard of them. Angry Bear Arms. You ever heard of them?
No.
Attorneys on Retainer are going to be there.
Heard of them.
Barrett. Looks like Barrett's going to have
Right behind our booth.
Okay. Cool. Probably know.
Barrett's right behind our booth. Air Force is right behind our booth. Right next to us is KCI, which is great. Love having them right next to us. Okie and the Smokies is right 2 booths down. It's gonna be a good show.
Is going to be there. Glock's going to be there. I was surprised to see that Glock had a booth there.
Yeah, and
they got that that 26. Is it the 26X?
Oh yeah, I think that's going to go to range day.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to. I've seen videos of it online. The Glock store. What's that guy's name? He's done a couple of videos.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to going over. Definition Knives is going to be there. Fat Tack is going to be there. I love going to visit Fat Tack. They got some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
There's EAA. I mean, there's quite a bit of booze.
Our buddies over at Dissident Arms, the suppressor company, not Dissident Arms.
I saw them. I saw Disavowed.
That's right, Disavowed.
Yeah. Disavowed. I just saw them, and they're staying at this hotel.
Very cool.
And they got some really cool shit they're showing off.
Nice. I'm excited to see that. I've got one of their 9 mils waiting on me at Royal Range if I go pick it up.
And they got some stuff I got to hear about. I can't tell anybody about it because it's being released tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Suppressor stuff?
Suppressor and chassis.
Oh, chassis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see who else is going to be there. Shaw Barrels.
Hell yeah. My boys at Shaw. Love those guys.
And I was going to see, let's see, Troy's going to be there. Haven't seen them in a while. Vertex. Got a nice little discount code at Vertex. But not for the lead heads. Ha ha ha. Not for the lead heads because they don't support the show, so they don't get codes anymore. No more codes for the Leadhead Brigade. So, let me introduce our new guest. Sorry, Ken. Ken's just been sitting there being very patient.
You're all good.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my longtime friend and gym buddy at Gold's Gym. I think that's the first place we met, wasn't it? Was Gold's Gym?
Yes, sir.
It's Ken Walton. He manages Gold's Gym right now, but Ken's got a very interesting background. He's a former Navy intelligence dude. So we're going to Ken. What's that?
That's the most popular oxymoron in the dictionary. Naval intelligence.
Naval intelligence. We're going to have Ken tell us a little bit more about him in just a moment. But I'm glad to have you on the show. And
thanks for having me.
Some interesting conversations at the
Always.
gym. I was like, you know what? We should get Ken on and talk about some of this crazy shit that we talk about.
Yeah.
At the gym. So we're going to do that today. And it's roughly going to be about giants. So
I was excited when he told me about this. This was right up my alley. I was like, bro, I'm in on this one. This is going to be badass.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the kind of stuff like if in my free time I'm listening or I'm watching, TV, I'm on the Discovery Channel or the History Channel or, Ancient Aliens, I'm watching that kind of stuff. And I find it fascinating because as wild and as exaggerated as, a lot of these TV shows are, they're based on some truth. There's some truth in there that got all this started, somehow, some way. And I don't know how, you listeners feel about giants, and you may be like, this is a firearms podcast. Why are you talking giants? Well, we talk about everything on this podcast. And this is something that interests me. I've not had any feedback from you listeners on what you want to hear. So I'm going to talk giants today. We're talking giants. But before we do that, I think we need to maybe vent a little bit. And we're going to have the Gunny bring that jackwagon train in. And we'll take care of some jackwagons. Although we did a whole episode on this a couple episodes ago, last episode.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
There we go. The train is coming in hot. It's on fire. And I don't know if I've got any jackwagons prepared or not, but I know Tunn's always got one at the ready. So Tunn, I'll let you kick it off.
Okay. If you're gonna do social media and you're gonna rag on something or get pissed off about something that's going on in your life, and you're gonna post an option to your fans or your listeners, expect them to give their opinion. Don't get pissed off when they fire back at you. I was scrolling through Instagram and there's this person that was pissed off about what they wore into a establishment and got asked to leave because they wore inappropriate clothing into this establishment.
What was the establishment? Can you say the establishment?
It was a Shell gas station.
Okay. I mean, what's inappropriate for a Shell gas station? I mean,
it's
no shoes.
Well, they have a policy that if you're wearing like bikini or underwear, you don't come in.
Underwear.
And it's posted.
Okay.
And they actually have a dress code on the outside of the gas station.
Wow.
And this person posted about how they were offended and they're never going to come back or visit this store and never buy their coffee there. And 3,000 comments. Well, grow the fuck up, act like an adult. Don't get pissed off that you got schooled because you went in there dressed inappropriately.
Did somebody put their underwear?
Well, yeah, they went in a very skimpy sports bra trying to flaunt their shit.
Ah, okay.
And and I sat there and it was pure amusement, break out the popcorn, because this person's so-called fans ripped their ass. And they got butthurt because their so-called fans were like, dress appropriately. Don't act like you're a snaggletooth bush pig. Don't act like a whore. Don't dress like shit. And they fired back. Then all of a sudden it's turned into this little social media battle.
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, if you post a question
petty
on social media, expect people to have different opinions.
Yeah. Is this somebody I know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, You play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And if you get called out for being a dumbass, accept it. Don't
Did
go. Don't
they
search
delete
for validation. Oh no.
They didn't. They kept the
Um,
post. A lot of people
yeah.
would delete their post if they get like negative feedback.
Yeah.
They're now writing the thing. Well, I'm doing it for the algorithm. I was like, oh God. You went from trying to stand your ground to no, I left it up because the algorithm, it makes my channel look better. I was like, you're 6 ways of a fucking train wreck right now.
Is this
It would-
person blonde?
Of course.
Is this person in New York?
No. On the same lines.
Okay.
God. And I was just like,
Oh,
it's just one of those, it's an evolving dumpster fire where you just want to sit back and go like, bless your heart in the Southern sense. It's like, you're special.
I don't read social media. I mean, I'll go and I might Instagram, see a post here, a post there, but I don't get into the comments and stuff like that.
The comments are one of my favorite things because
Yeah.
social media has become validation for people that are searching for the validation that they don't have, or they think, oh, your fans really don't give two fucks about you. Let's be honest. If you were dying on the side of the road, your face was on fire, they wouldn't drink a pint of liquor to piss on you to put out the fire.
Most of them are bots anyway. They're not even
Yeah.
real.
I'm like, dude, no one really gives two shits. I'm all.
Ken, you got a jack wagon? You got anybody? Or anything? It could be a thing. It doesn't have to be.
I mean, along that same vein, there's a pretty prominent bodybuilding influencer who he had made like a post after Hulk Hogan died. And he was like, I grew up with Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was the man, blah, blah, blah. And then the internet mob came for him and said, Hulk Hogan was a racist. What a terrible person. How dare you defend someone like that? So he took down the tribute video and then uploaded an apology video, or like he was on Instagram Live or something.
Oh my God.
And he was like, I'm so sorry to all my fans who I offended, this, and that. And that created 10 times more backlash because everyone who really liked the guy was telling him, like, don't ever bend the knee to these people. Do not bend the knee to the internet mob. They don't care. Your apology is not going to be accepted by them, no matter how many times you do it. So he essentially rage quit social media, and he made this long post about, I'm just done. All I do is try and help people. But like his whole fame on social media was because he would drag people for their bad behavior in the gym. Like he would put these people's videos up and he'd be like, you don't need to act like this at the gym. This is so terrible. You need to be a good person.
Who's the person?
His name is Joey Swole.
Joey Swole.
Yeah.
What an ego.
Yeah. He like maybe 10, 15 years ago, he was part of this like supplement company, and that supplement, I don't even know what it was called, but that supplement company had so much heat because they were just scamming people. Like they were promising, oh, you're going to lose this much weight, this and that.
This guy's got 5.4 million followers.
Yeah. Yeah. And he rage quit social media because everybody was just joshing on him.
Oh my God, that's great. Let me look this guy up.
Yeah, look him up there, Ton.
Let me search him.
He's got hundreds, if not like 1,000 videos of him calling people out about their bad behavior at the gym. And then as soon as people gang up on him and say like, oh, you're actually a piece of shit for taking down that tribute video, because Hulk Hogan was a cool dude to a lot of people.
So he kowtowed to the pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And he posted on X, posted on Instagram, like, I'm done with social media. And then not 4 days later, he's like posting this random stuff on X, but people did some digging and they found out that he's been copy pasting a lot of like old tweets from other accounts. So he's not even coming up with his own content. He's just ripping it from other people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've gone through I found his account, gone through his top 20 followers already.
Bots.
Every single one of them is a bot. So he's buying his followers. He has 5.4 million. So I'm at 23. That's fake. I mean, every single one on here, every single one of his followers has 0 posts. Every single one. So he's a bot farming account. I mean, there's another one. I mean, we can just keep going down the line. There's another one. These are all his followers. All of his followers have 0 posts, 9 followers. Let's go to the next one.
I think we get
0, 0, 0, 0. So
we get the point. So
yeah, he's low rent. Already.
Joey Bag of Dicks. You're Jack.
Yeah, dude.
Never heard of you, Joey Swole. What a dude.
Yeah. So
you see that if you're watching the video, you see our Gold's Gym info down there, and Ken, like I said, he is responsible for setting you guys up with this. So, and it's Tennessee. So if you're a lead head and you live in Tennessee, this is any Gold's Gym of Tennessee. You can call that number 615-956-6016 extension 2. Most likely Ken will answer, but Grant may answer also, or one of the other ones. But tell them you know Ken and Grant, and they'll set you up with a good deal at your Tennessee Gold's Gym.
Ken, can I call you just to harass Lefty?
Absolutely.
My man.
Leave a message.
Yes.
Yeah, leave a message. Well, I don't really have any jack wagons. I haven't really given it much thought. I will say this though, parking garages.
Oh, God.
In probably any downtown metropolitan area, as much as they charge for parking, they should guarantee the safety of your vehicle and the contents.
Yeah.
They should be responsible for your vehicle. So I think that's a bunch of bullshit. There's been, I don't know how many car break-ins in downtown Nashville. There's something like over 500 firearms that have been stolen already this year from vehicles downtown Nashville. And they can't catch these people. I mean, downtown Nashville is not that fucking big.
No.
And all of these garages supposedly have cameras.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not catching this gang that's going around, you know, breaking into all these cars. And I mean, it's ludicrous. And they're not responsible. You pay $40 a day to park with these jack wagons, and there's guarantee safety of your vehicle. I think that's bullshit.
And
No,
statistically, it's probably the same 30 people who are doing it.
Yeah, it's a ring. It's a little ring of probably M13 or whatever they're called, MS13. What are they? BS13. The fucking Mexican gang members. Who knows?
Oh, it usually has to do with the parking attendant that's also disgruntled, tells them when the cameras are off.
Well, they don't have parking attendants anymore. It's all electronic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. People don't like to work anymore.
Once you sign up, it's got your license plate number. It scans your license plate. The arm comes up. You go in, park. When you leave, it scans. You go out. There's no receipts. There's no nothing.
Know what else pisses me off?
Electronic receipts, but what's that?
These people on these electric bikes and scooters that think they belong in the middle of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the people that are just begging to be meat jelly speed bumps. I mean, for piss sakes, dude, get the fuck out of the road. You're just begging to be the hood ornament in my pickup truck. I mean,
that's what you get if you go downtown also, is you get that kind of behavior, that kind of person. That's why I hate going downtown. And the only reason I've been going downtown is for reasons. But
it's the same person. It's the same type of people every time you get on the road, you pull into downtown, and it's that hipster bastard with a knit beanie on in 98 degrees and his pink headphones on because he wants to be different, baggy pants, chilling with Chuck Taylors, and a string backpack.
It's all downtown Nashville is tourists. It's people from everywhere. There's people from other countries that are downtown Nashville now. I don't know how many different countries, especially Canada. There's a lot of Asians that are down there.
Damn Canadians.
From Kentucky. I mean, a whole nother country.
I'm half Canadian, so I can say that. Next.
But yeah, the parking people, I think they should be held liable and then responsible and guarantee some sort of safety for your vehicle.
Dude, why can't we do like South Africa? I want to get their like anti-theft flamethrower that goes on the bottom of my truck. Someone tries to break in, and there's that anti-theft flamethrower that comes up and just cooks the bastard. Dude, like a spit roast pig.
In South Africa?
Yeah, they have them. Flamethrowers that if someone tries to break in your car or carjack you, it engages this like propane flame that comes up from underneath your car and just roasts the person that's trying to break in.
That's not
That's
real.
awesome.
Dude, look it up. It's epic.
That's not legal. There's no way that they allow that.
They have it in South Africa. It is beautiful.
Are you finding it, Ken?
I'm looking.
Verify that.
Oh yeah. Oh,
See?
this is awesome.
Exactly.
Pull it up.
Anti-carjacking.
Present or invite down there.
How am I the only person that's ever seen this?
I've never heard of that.
Dude, it is beautiful.
But I think there should be that we should be allowed to put some sort of an anti-theft, like mace spray comes out if your window shatters. You know?
Flamethrower.
Well, that might jack your car up or the neighbor's car.
I don't care. Dude, after the first couple people get roasted, the gene pool gets thinned out. I'm just saying, it sends a message.
There's no way insurance is going to cover you for that.
All right.
Who's going to sue you? The cook.
Okay, here it is.
There it is. Oh, that's pure happiness.
That's awesome.
So that's in South Africa.
Yes.
What's
It's so beautiful. Oh, that just makes me happy.
Is that like not? Is that AI or is that actually somebody getting?
No,
fried?
they have.
I think it's dummy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you can get it on the back of a motorbike.
Dude, imagine the next time someone tries to steal a catalytic converter. Dude,
Ken, go to the company that makes those. Go to the main page and see who actually makes those.
it's just a beautiful thing.
Anyway, it's never going to happen here. They're not going to allow it. But all right, so that's our jack wagon. Let's get that train out of here, Gunny. Yeah, very few because we did a whole episode on jack wagons the last episode with Coop and Ton, and we had a good time. I do have on next episode. I've got an unboxing here. This came in the mail today. I have not opened it yet. So this is what the next episode is going to be on. I'm opening it right here. What do you think it is? What do you think?
Something from
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What do you guess, Ken?
What
do you think it is?
Well, Is the return address a Mr. Ted Kaczynski?
I would have already lost my hand. All right, boom, here it is.
Mission
book.
first. Oh.
So next episode, we're gonna have Kyle Mills on. Wait, this ain't the right book. Denied access. They sent me the wrong book. They sent me the wrong book. That's hilarious. This is Don Bentley. Don Bentley is not my next guest. My next guest is Kyle Mills, and Kyle Mills has a new book. It's called Fade In, and that's
Did you
fun.
Amazon it?
No, the publisher sent this to me.
Well, there's your problem.
That's hilarious. We have had Don Bentley on. Don's been on the show before. So maybe this is a hint that they're going to have me have Don on also. But Kyle Mills, Fade In, and it's actually a character from the Vince Flynn novels, the Mitch Rapp series. But it's not Mitch Rapp. It's a character from his books. We're going to talk about that. I've actually been listening to the book. It's pretty good so far. So next episode, Kyle Mills. That was hilarious.
That's actually pretty fucking fun.
If that any better, is like, this is not the book. Denied access.
Yeah, access denied.
Okay. I'll have to tell Kyle about that. He'll get kicked out. Hey there, Leadheads. It's your old pal Lefty with a special offer just for you Leadheads. Our friends at Gold's Gym, Tennessee are bringing the heat. Sign up at any gym for just $1 enrollment and get a free personal training session to kickstart your gains. You're not just working out, you're tapping into elite equipment, group classes to push your limits, and recovery perks like saunas and those world-famous hydro massage beds. This is fitness for strength and readiness, Leadhead style. 16 locations across Tennessee from Knoxville to Memphis, Chattanooga to Nashville. Hit up goldsgym.com or call 615-956-6016 extension 2 to find your closest goals. Sling iron, lift heavy, and get the gun show ready for summer, Leadheads, at Gold's Gym, Tennessee. 615-956-6016 extension 2. Tell them Lefty sent you. But this episode, and we need to get into it because Ken's got to study. But before we get into it, Ken, let's hear about you. Let's hear about your background. Tell us a little bit about Ken Walton.
Yeah. So after I graduated high school, went and worked at McDonald's for like a year. Wasn't really going anywhere. I didn't have any real plans after high school. School was always so easy that it was boring. So I never really paid attention. You know, my mind was always off wandering, learning about other things. And then basically I got into a little bit of trouble with my parents, and they just kind of said, you can either be homeless or you can join the military. And I said, well, one of those options sounds better than the other. So I went down to the Air Force recruiter and I tried joining the Air Force first, and they literally would not take me. They didn't want to talk to me. They wouldn't return any phone calls. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll do what everybody else in the family did. And I went and talked to the Navy.
What'd you do? Kill somebody's dog?
No, they only wanted people with degrees, or they wanted kids who had been through like an ROTC program.
Right.
So I just didn't have that in. So I went over, talked to the Navy. I scored like a 94 on the ASVAB.
Shit.
And they were like, you can do whatever you want. So I was like, okay, let me think about it. So my brother was a nuke working on the nuclear reactor in submarines at the time that I enlisted. So I said, hey man, what job should I pick? Because I have no idea what I want to do. And the Navy's got so many different jobs that I don't want to pick the wrong one and be stuck. And he was like, you know, based on your personality and everything I've heard, the intel guys seem to have the most fun. So I was like, cool. So the delayed entry program I was in, I had to wait like 9 months. And then I finally went to my A school in Diminick, Virginia. And every job in the Navy has a different like classification code. So you can go, if you're a cook, you can either go on ships or you can stay on shore. So for intel, they have like ship-based intel where you're moving dots around the screen and tracking enemy ships. They also have what's called strike guys, and they do battle damage assessment. So if we launch a tomahawk at a building, they can tell you the explosive radius, these are the potential casualties. And then there's imagery analysts, and they look at satellite imagery. They look at a bunch of different types of radar systems. And then the coolest one, which is the one I picked, was the ground intel guys. And they get attached to all the different expeditionary units in the Navy. So they're like, you could go off with the SEALs, you could go be a part of EOD. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And they sent me off to the Seabees in Ventura, California.
Nice.
But I wasn't mad about it. Like my parents lived, 2.5 hours from there. So I was like, that's cool. I'll go do that. So I deployed to Okinawa, Japan, got to hang out with the Seabee Battalion for 7 months. That was a really cool experience. Anybody who has not been to Japan, you need to go. That place is awesome. And then my second command was Riverine Squadron out of San Diego. So the mission was, small boats in the harbor, protecting the big boats, making sure that the USS Cole incident didn't happen again. And for the viewers who are not familiar, the USS Cole was a U.S. vessel that we had in the Middle East in like 2003 or 2004, and a suicide-laden IED boat basically slammed into the side, killed a bunch of our sailors, and it was a real wake-up call for the Navy that we needed more harbor-side security. We couldn't just rely on the big guns. So the Riverine squadrons were spun up, and that was my command. So we deployed to Spain, we deployed to Dubai. I got to go to Kuwait, Norway, just a whole bunch of places. And then my last year in the Navy.
See the world, like they say. See the world, join the Navy.
Yeah, exactly. And then my last year, we had to qualify on crew served weapons twice a year, as well as the small arms twice a year. And every time I went and shot, I got, near perfect scores. So eventually they're like, hey, do you want to be an instructor? And I was like, yes, please let me get out of this office. So that was probably the most fun that I had in the Navy, was just going out, spending weeks on end at the range, teaching people who had no idea how to handle a weapon and get them, deployment ready. A lot of the guys we taught were reservists who were like, yeah, I'm a school teacher, bro. I don't pick up weapons. And I'm like, cool story, but you need to know how to shoot just in case we're over there and you get into some shit.
Yeah, you need to know how to protect your buddy, asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm the guy you need to be protecting. So I need you to know how to shoot.
So what were you teaching?
It was, M9, M4. And it's broken into different categories as far as qualifications go. So there's category 2, which is what everyone in the Navy gets qualified as. And that's just, can you shoot a rifle? Can you shoot a shotgun? Can you shoot a pistol and hit a silhouette at, 7, 15, 22? But the category 3 had a bunch of extra stuff on top of it. So you had to be able to draw and fire at a 6-inch plate 7 yards away in under 2.5 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for people who do not shoot, that's a big jump, because just getting your weapon out of the holster is a mountain for some of these people. But luckily we never gun decked anybody. Everybody who passed that qualification actually did pass. We made sure of it, because they were our backup. You don't want your backup to be shit. You want them to at least know a little bit of what they're doing. So yeah, it was a good time. And then I got out of the Navy, pursued a degree in mechanical engineering, and then COVID hit, and they tried teaching me fucking calculus 2 on a computer. And I was like, no, not doing that. Can't do it. So I switched to IT management, got my degree. We moved to Tennessee, and I was like, I need a job. So I started at the front counter of Gold's, and within 6 months, I made assistant manager. The week I made assistant manager, the general manager quit. So I was like, okay, this is my show now. And I just ran the gym,
And
being in the Navy.
do a fine job.
Thank you, sir.
But you're wasting your talents there. So
Yeah, no, I know.
but I get it. I mean, you got to pay bills.
Yep.
You have done an excellent job there, but you are very overqualified for that, and we're working on getting you out of there. So hopefully your Golds people aren't listening.
Maybe.
I'm sure they're not.
No, but I mean, they know. They'll talk to me for 5 minutes and be like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's not a bad gig."
Yeah.
So I ran that one gym for 2 months on my own as the assistant manager, and they're like, "Okay, you can be the general manager." And then 8 months after that, they're like, "Hey, we're going to put two other clubs under your belt." So now I manage the 3 of them. I've just been hanging out in Tennessee, working the gyms.
There you go. But he's not settling there,
No.
So, with your Intel background and the computer science degree, and all that you got going for, and you're working on something. You just got certified as an NRA instructor.
Yep, range safety officer.
RO, yeah. And then you're working on something else, which you said you had to study for tonight. So,
yep, trying to go into Salesforce, which is just the back end of a lot of really big businesses and their websites. And
Ton probably knows what that is.
God, dude.
Yeah,
Ton might be able to give you some pointers.
Yeah, welcome to the struggle, brother.
yeah.
Every day of my life. Every day.
Like I said, we have some interesting conversations whenever I go in there. And you said you were stationed in Dubai at one time. You had an interesting story about that, and you were showing me. We started getting to the maps and looking at the maps to verify. Talk about that real quick before we get into Giants.
Yeah, so the port are basically the port that all of our ships pull into when they go to Dubai is called Jebel Ali. And let me see if I can
Sure,
get
that
pulled up on the map. And this port can handle, a carrier plus a submarine plus a destroyer. So it's a really important hub for any of our naval assets that want to pull into the region. And our job was, just protect those assets and make sure that nothing happened to them while they were there. So we're, a couple months into this deployment, and the air starts smelling weird. And we're like, what is that? And then we look at the water, and the water is starting to turn pink. We're like, oh, that's not good. And the boat crews who are sitting out there with the 240 and the 50 cal, the feed tray on the weapon system has 4 or 5 rounds exposed that you can see. And they were saying that the ammo started pitting, like the brass started to have pits on it because of the mist coming off the water was starting to corrode.
Corrosive mist.
Yeah, and it was starting to corrode the brass. So this is a little overview of our port.
Yeah,
in Jebel Ali. So this is our operations center where U.S. Navy pulls in. They have a little like Subway and different restaurants right here. But just to give you guys scale, that is a frigate, or not a frigate, but
Holy
like,
crap! Look at the size of that thing.
Look
Yeah.
at the cargo ship over on the other side. Yeah,
yeah. So this is one of our Intel collection ships.
that place is
And they can just stack them in here. Like when I was there, they literally had an LHD, and then next to it, they had a carrier. And then in front of that, they had 2 destroyers. So very big port, very deep berth. So anyway, we're like, oh man, this water is toxic shit. Well, then the EOD guys, the divers who were with us, they got told from Big Navy, like, you guys are not to dive in that water because it is toxic.
Yeah,
And
dude, horrible.
yeah, and this is an industrial port. Like they have refineries and chemical processing plants and all of this just surrounding this entire port. So, our theory was that there was some giant chemical spill that Dubai didn't want to acknowledge. But I mean, it had to have been millions of gallons of this shit to turn that entire port pink.
and corrode the ammo.
Yep.
And it's not just bullet, it's the big like mortar shells and all that on the carriers and everything too, right?
Well, yeah, and just remember that our vessels will actually pull in seawater to do a lot of the engine cooling. There's different systems that pull in seawater. So there were actually main components on some of these vessels that were like, oh shit, like that broke because of the water.
Oh my gosh. And you never found out what it was.
Nope.
You breathed that shit in too. How long was it there? How many weeks was that around?
Probably like a good 2 months.
Yeah.
We did a Google Earth like time lapse, and we actually pulled it up during your time there, and the water was a funky color. Can you do that on this?
Yeah, give me a second.
It's called red tide.
Oh, the algae.
Yeah, that is. But in Dubai, it is a very toxic form of red tide.
Oh.
Yeah, it has a very toxic form of red tide with the reduced oxygen rate. And I cannot. It's a really weird term. It's very caustic. I can't. It's we call it. God, I remember this after I'm digging way back. It's CP red tide. I can't remember what it's called, but it was CP red tide. It's very, very nasty. It clogs everything, kills pretty much everything in its area. You can't dive in it. The reduced oxygen rate, it's just caustic and nasty as hell. It destroys everything. It happens for months on end.
So this is according to NOAA's site, National Oceanic. Whatever.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Harmful
it is.
Algal blooms, or HABs, occur when colonies of algae, plant-like organisms that live in the sea and freshwater grow out of control while producing toxic or harmful effects on people, fish, shellfish, marine mammals, and birds. The human illnesses caused, though rare, can be debilitating or even fatal.
But the one if you look up, but there's one in Dubai that's different than most other ones. It's not a 3-letter, it's a 2-letter, and it's a CP. It's look up harmful red tide in Dubai.
Red tide blooms caused by certain types of algae like Carina brevis can produce toxins. These toxins, didn't say anything about Dubai specifically. Let's see. Here it is.
And it's funny that it talks about releasing toxins into the air, because that entire place, like within 10 miles of there, you could smell, and it was like the smell of a barbecue mixed with burnt hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is horrible.
Scientific name is Coclodinium
There it is.
polycricodides.
Polycocodides or something.
Cricodides, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
At a high rate, especially at night. Reduced oxygen levels can harm fish, algae. But I mean, like he said, it was affecting the ammo, the brass.
It destroys everything. Imagine what it does. You remove oxygen, start adding it decomposes everything there, and it'll start rotting away. Brass is a very soft metal as it is.
So look at
And
pinkish to that picture now. That's right, Ken?
It'll start
2019.
Yeah, it'll start the aging process immediately. It just starts aging. You'll get an immediate patina on it, pitting.
I mean, this is a satellite photo, and you can see it in the satellite. That's how dense that algae is, and the toxic gas that it's putting off. That's crazy.
Dude, it's fucking horrible. As soon as you started describing, I was like, "Oh, I know what he's talking about. That's nasty shit." And it's for some reason in that area, it is absolutely horrible. It's worse than other places.
Ken, can you zoom out and get a?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, so you can even see this is green.
Yep.
This is all pink.
Oh, that's pink in there.
And there's a here, I'll share another screen.
And
I actually got a picture of it.
That's crazy. You're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what the water looked like.
Yeah, that.
Yep, there it is.
Good Lord. It's like a cranberry farm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Never forget that smell, though.
Nope. It'll stick with you forever.
Yeah.
And they just keep you guys stationed there. You don't give you mask or anything. You just breathe it in, suck it up.
They're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Show up to work.
Yep, stay out of the water.
Yeah, literally.
Don't go in the water.
Yeah, but like I said, though, I mean, there's the ships use the water for their cooling systems, and they're putting that in there, and it's damaging engines. And
oh yeah, it'll fuck everything up.
That's crazy. All right, well, we solved the mystery.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ton. Let's see if we can solve this mystery now. The mystery of giants. So, I mean, if you're a biblical, you believe in the Bible, you read the Bible, there's talk of giants in the Bible. If you're into history, all of the explorers, I mean, most, if not all of the major explorers had recollections or, they'd logged encounters with giants as they're exploring, the different coastlines of North America, South America. Mythology, the North myths, the Jotunheim, is that what they're called? The Jotunheim or Jotuns?
Mm-hmm.
And Greek, obviously, Greek mythology, there's several different giants in Greek mythology. So, I mean, there's just all these different accounts of large humanoids, human-like people throughout history. But yet there's not been ever any actual evidence, I guess, that giants existed other than, maybe somebody being 8 feet tall. In recent history, Andre the Giant, everybody knows Andre the Giant, he was affected by this
gigantism.
I don't know if it's a disease. I guess they call it a disease.
Yeah.
And what was that other guy? Wadlow? Is that was his name?
Yeah, the Guinness record holder.
Yeah. And I'm sure everybody's seen pictures of
Robert Wadlow.
Robert Wadlow. That's who it was. They pull him up. And he was
8'10".
Extremely large individual. Let's pull it up here.
8'11".
8'11".
Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus.
Let's see if did that come up? There it is. So yeah, this guy was ginormous. But I think that's fake. That's got to be a fake picture right there.
Yeah, that's a little bit over 8'11".
Yeah.
Unless those guys are like 3 feet.
3 feet tall.
Yeah.
I think that's it. That's actual. This one's actual. I remember seeing that. But he had to walk with a cane because the human body isn't designed to carry that much mass, that much weight, the bones. Anybody you see that's enormously tall, they typically will have knee problems, hip problems, back problems.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 5'10" and I've got all those problems. So a little short dude. But there's accounts of this throughout history. Egyptians, the Romans, the Greeks, the Vikings, the Norse people, the Indians, indigenous to North America Indians are the Indians I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Even the Habib Indians also.
Yeah, Vishnu, their god.
Yeah.
He was said to be like 15, 20 feet tall.
Yeah. And throughout history, you read about this, and you've probably watched these shows on the History Channel and all that. And whenever a major discovery of, a large individual has been found, typically they contact the Smithsonian Institute. Smithsonian. And they say that they've sent these to the Smithsonian. And only the largest individual that they say that they have on record is 6'3".
Yeah.
I mean, we know people today that are 7 feet tall, NBA. I mean, just look at all the people in the NBA that are, I think the average height in the NBA is like 6'7" or something like that.
Yeah.
But it baffles my mind that why would somebody want to cover this up or hide the fact that there were giants, we'll call them giants, that existed. I don't understand the reasoning why that would be there. Somebody would want to cover that up.
Well, if modern archaeology is centered around the current paradigm that we all have, and you start having these out of place artifacts or out of place evidence, then the archaeology, house of cards starts to crumble a little bit because, they say, oh, it was, 100,000 skilled craftsmen who created the pyramids in 20 years. Like, we can't even do that today. With all of the technology we have, we cannot recreate the pyramids. The stones that are inside the king's chamber are like 50 tons, and they stacked 10 of them on top of each other. Like, guys our size, no matter how many you take, are not doing that. Number one, the material science of ropes and wood and all the things that the ancient Egyptians would have access to just does not hold up when you're talking 50, 60 tons. No matter how big the little rolling log is under that giant stone, that wood is just not going to hold.
I don't know how to spell. All right. So you're saying that giants built the Egyptian pyramids?
Possibly. I think that is a more probable explanation than 100,000 artisans who are chipping away with copper tools.
So do you think the giants were also chipping away and doing all that too? Because there's such precision, they say, in the stones that were made for the pyramids. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know that I fall into that camp. Maybe there were a few, but
yeah.
I go to the theory of, for the pyramids, of sound waves and being able to levitate the stones, because that has been proven that sound waves can, you've seen it with balls and, things like that, to where they actually levitate a ball with certain frequencies.
Some of the ancient Egyptian tales, stories, legends, whatever you want to call them, say that the priests sung the blocks into place.
Sung, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the Bible, they brought down those walls. What was that? You know which one I'm talking about? They sounded the horns and they crumbled the walls with the sounds of the horns. There's a biblical account of that. Let me see. Obviously, we are not well studied on this. We hear theories and rumors just like everybody else.
The Battle of Jericho.
That's it.
Yeah, found in the book of Joshua.
That's it. That's exactly the one that I'm talking about right there. But and David and Goliath, there's a giant, account there, and there's been going back and forth on the size of Goliath, how big he was. From 15 feet, I think they've got him down to like 10 feet now or something like that, is kind of what everybody's agreeing on. He was around 10 feet tall, but still 10 feet tall.
Yeah, no kidding.
You don't see that today.
Right.
And being able to, go to battle, again, most people that we see that are over the 6 feet, 7 feet, they require canes and, assistance to be able to carry their mass around. And I mean, even Andre the Giant, I mean, he was massive. He weighed almost 550 pounds or something like that. But I mean, if you ever saw him outside of the ring trying to walk, I mean, he
brutal. It's just brutal.
Yeah, it's painful to watch. Painful to watch. So I mean, the human physiology wasn't designed to get that large, but just the bone structures can't accommodate it.
Well, and it might have been that, like the difference between a Shih Tzu and a Great Dane. A Shih Tzu's DNA is not built to be that big. So if you scaled a Shih Tzu up to that size, it would have all types of problems. But a Great Dane is just fine.
Danes? No, they're not. They have problems too. I had 2 Great Danes, and they had hip problems. Both of them.
Hip dysplasia. Most of them suffer from hip dysplasia right off the bat, and
they don't live as long.
Yeah, you get a Shih Tzu, then you can expect the life expectancy 15 to 18 years, where a Great Dane's life expectancy is usually right around 8 years max.
6 to 8 years.
Yeah,
I had one that lived to be 11.
With gigantism, it's usually caused by a tumor pressing on the pituitary gland or overproduction of growth hormone, which also shortens the lifespan. Back in the day, without medical intervention, at least modern medical intervention, the life expectancy is cut in half. So there's a lot of weird things that would have happened if someone was suffering from gigantism back then. They would have known exactly how to have treated the tumor pressing on a pituitary gland.
They didn't know about a tumor.
Yeah.
pituitary gland. They didn't know any of that.
They'd have probably just poured hot lead and tried to expel the demons through the ear.
Yeah.
At least that's what they would have done in Italy, and
Or
hope
they just
surviving.
put them as a god and make them their chieftain.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what, the accounts of a lot of these explorers like Amerigo, what's his Amerigo?
Vespucci.
Yeah, that guy, Magellan.
Yep.
They all had accounts. These chieftains that were giants. And you were telling the story about one of them. They brought one on a ship. Tell that that story again.
Yeah. So Magellan or one of his like yeoman clerks had written a detailed account of all of their travels down the southern tip of South America. And they were trying to cross over into the Pacific Ocean, but every time they turned into an inlet thinking that it was the Pacific Ocean, they just found, another natural harbor. So there's one spot near the bottom tip of South America. There's actually still a cross there today where, those Spanish explorers landed. And I think there's a church nearby that was set up, shortly after they had kind of sent some parties back there. But the account when they pulled up on shore was that there was a giant who was double their size. So the average Spanish conquistador might have been like 5'6". So you can imagine the dude on the shoreline was anywhere between 10 and 12 feet tall. And they vividly described what he was wearing, his mannerisms. They said that he was like rubbing his head and patting his stomach as a way to try and communicate. So they sent a small boat out there. They start, roughly communicating with their hands. And eventually they convinced him to get onto the boat with them and go back to the main ship. And then they continued their travels on. There was like a landing party that went out and walked with the giants back to their camp. And their camp was up at the foot of the, Patagonia Mountains. But they were going to take this giant back to Europe with them. But he died shortly after he got on the boat due to illness. I'm sure they had a bunch of really nasty bacteria on that boat that the indigenous population just were not used to.
Yeah.
So he died and they threw him overboard. And really the only record we have of that is in that diary of that expedition.
And which explorer was that?
I believe it was Magellan. If you type in Magellan Giants,
it is Magellan. It was
there's a lot of photos. But like any article that you read about it, they're basically saying like, oh no, they were imagining things because they were exhausted on their voyage and this and that. But those guys weren't stupid and they also weren't weak. Like those are some of the toughest dudes out there. So, 6-7 months at sea sounds terrible to the average person who's sitting in air conditioning all day. But that's just the life that these guys lived. So I can't imagine that they would just start writing crazy shit when the whole purpose of the expedition was to record everything they saw.
Yeah. And that's what they did. They would have like an artist dude on there that would draw, all the animals and the plants and, and record everything. So here's a website here, firsthand reports of early encounters with ancient American cultures. I saw something about Ferdinand. Here's Ferdinand Magellan and Antonio Pigafetta. Pigafetta, whatever. Here's something about big feet right here. So between 1519 and 1522 AD, the intrepid crew of the Carac, aptly named the Victoria, rounded the southern tip of South America. They named this land Patagones the Spanish pata meaning foot, hence this name means the land of the big feet, according to official chronicles. Pata Kinsley, recorded by Antonio the Pajafita, as they approached the shore of this strange land, they witnessed a giant naked man dancing and anointing himself with powder. A crew member was sent ashore to make contact and did so by imitating the giant's gestures. So that's probably what you were talking about, patting the head and doing that. When the giant was in the captain, generals, and our presence, he marveled greatly and made signs with one finger raised upward, believing he had come from the sky. He was so tall that we reached only to his waist, and he was well proportioned. Does that mean he was hung like a donkey? Is that what they're saying there? But this is actual, in their logs. They recorded this.
Yep.
They put this in their records. So, and it just throughout history, there's account after account after account of giant people. But yet we have no evidence, which is baffling to me. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And a lot of them have been dismissed as hoaxes, and I get that. People do that. I mean, P.T. Barnum, come on. He was the king of hoaxes. Some of them were dismissed as being mammoth bones. But I mean, who knows? I mean, until we can figure out what the purpose would be to cover up the existence of giants, which I see no reason other than what you're saying, history, it's going to mess up with some people's interpretation of how history actually happened. But I mean, if the evidence is there, I don't understand. And it's been there for hundreds of years. Thousands of years. Yeah. So I don't get why, other than someone's misinterpretation of what actually happened. I mean, look at dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were freaking ginormous, and we've got bones and records of those. Find them all the time. Find them all over the world. They find them in Tennessee. I think they found like woolly mammoths and shit here in Tennessee, or the saber-toothed tigers. The predators, Nashville Predators, they're named after the saber-toothed tigers. I just don't get it, and the fact that we don't have, we've got large people. There are tall people, large people, but most of those are through the ton that disorder that Andre had,
gigantism.
Yeah, gigantism. But we don't see everyday giant tall people. I mean, we know some people that are 6'8" and what.
What was actually really unique about Magellan and the tribe that he came across, it was quite a few years later when they actually rediscovered that tribe. It turned out that they are actually, for their area, a lot larger tribal group than everybody else down there in Patagonia. They're still on record as of today for being larger than average for their time, and even on record now that those people are of larger stature and build than most of the people of their time.
Yeah.
So that is one of the very few records that was actually kept, while others are always being dismissed, which I actually agree with Ken very much so. They don't like to rewrite history because it disrupts what they want people to believe. Anytime a new discovery happens that could disrupt history, something that's already been written.
But you know what? It's ego. It's these people's egos
Oh, yeah.
that they don't want stepped on, because
Yeah. It discredits their so-called scholars.
Yeah.
and I get that, and they've discovered different types of humanoids also. So, I mean, giants could have existed and thrived and not had all the problems because they were a different species of humanoid. Neanderthals. You got all different that died out.
Denisovians.
Yeah, the Denisovians. Yeah. So it could have been a whole nother race that had the genetic capability of supporting, the bone density, the caloric intake, all that.
Exactly. Just like in the modern evolution of every species on Earth. Let's take crocodilian. They have dinosaur species of crocodilian that were over 20, 30 feet long. Now, on average, an alligator crocodile, you're getting 10, 12 feet long. American alligators, 8, 10 feet. But back then, you have these ginormous actual skeletons that are proven are 20 plus all over the place.
Yeah.
And that are still being discovered. And they're like, okay, there's a time where the animals were much larger, the oxygen levels were a lot higher, the food sources were much more abundant. So things are going to change. Even with the human evolution, there's a certain time. Let's go back to the 1600s and 1700s, even the 1800s, where people were a lot shorter stature in England. And then because you can only grow to your environment and what's available. There's a certain point in the world's history where the environment was a lot more spacious. So it would only make sense you were able to grow to a larger size without having a tumor on your pituitary gland. So realistically speaking, what we call giants now would have been average, but they would be giants to us. Having an 8 foot, 9 foot human is completely possible.
Yeah.
Highly possible. And
humanoid.
Even
because as a human, as our genetics are made up right now, there's this thing called the square cube law. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
So doubling height increases weight 8-fold, making giants slow but durable. A 10-foot giant, say 1,000 pounds, requires high energy. So a lot of caloric intake. Their heart's larger. They're going to move slower. And then,
that is square Q law is a sound-ish theory, because now you take this into effect. We already have basketball players that are 7 foot plus, but we also have average human beings that are 5 foot. So you're telling me that 7 foot basketball player has an over enlarged heart and a lot slower than a 5 foot human being? That bastard's out there playing basketball. Well, I can't even think about running. I was like, dude, screw that shit. That dude's going to outrun me 7 days a week.
Well, it's because they got the longer stride also.
Yeah. So now the stretch from a 7 to an 8 or even a 9 foot human being is not that too far off. Because for someone that's 5 foot tall, 3 feet in height is a huge, huge leap in height. But 2 feet for a 7 foot person, you're like, that's not that big of a leap. So everything has to be put in perspective.
Yeah.
Like the Icelandic strongmen You have Thor Bjornsson, who's 6'9", one of the strongest guys alive. I'm sure he has some sort of joint or back problems, but he's also lifting over half a ton.
Yes.
And all these guys talk about is, yeah, we eat bison, we eat elk. They're eating those
also
really
intake, the
Yeah.
steroid intake, they're
yeah. But the animals they're eating are the large game. So if you imagine a woolly mammoth being 4 times the size of a regular elephant, and then you have this pocket of giants that have herds of mammoth around them, they have enough calories to sit there and sustain. And earlier we were talking about how a lot of these giant legends are tied to them being cannibals.
the red-haired giants.
Yeah, the human body, like mine and your human body, has about 125,000 calories worth of food for a cannibal. So if a giant has to eat 12,000 calories a day, me and you are 20 days worth of food for them. So if the giants were real and they were spread out in these small pockets and they were cannibals and we were cohabitating with them in that environment, all they would have to do is run down every couple weeks, snag a couple of us, keep us alive until they're ready to cut us up. And then
there's an indigenous account of that.
Yeah, the Paiute tribe in Nevada.
Yeah. Where the cannibals would come out of the caves, raid their village, ever so often. And then they got sick and tired of it and they went and burned the giant's cave.
Yes. And you got to also think about, going along with Ken, a lot of the food intake back then, they weren't a bunch of bitches like we are now. They actually ate all the organ meat. They actually ate the marrow. So you would have the complete body intake that they would need to sustain. When you eat the marrow, you get a lot more of the nutrients. When you actually ate the fat, when you actually ate and processed everything that the animal has to offer, you're a lot healthier. And these animals that they would be eating, let alone humans, let's say if they were eating strictly other animals they were preying upon, those animals would be eating cleaner than what we're eating today. They're eating all the wild vegetation. They were taking in the nutrients. Those animals they would be harvesting are a lot higher in food value than anything we're taking in today. They wouldn't have the pollutants. They would be a cleaner source of protein and fats. They would not be, know what? I'm not going to eat the cheek meat. I'm not going to eat the eyeball. I'm not going to eat the marrow. I'm not going to eat the heart. No, these people would be eating everything.
Yep.
Because they're cannibals.
They're resourceful. Big difference.
For reference, Google is saying that a woolly mammoth has 3.6 million calories worth of muscle mass.
Yeah.
That's just muscle. That's not the organ.
Yeah, exactly. That's not talking about the marrow. That's not talking about any of the organs. And that's just the meat is 3.6 million calories. So you talk, 10 to 20 giants in a tribe, knock down one woolly mammoth. They smoke a bunch of the meat for beef jerky. They've got food for a while.
Yeah. It's
the map that we were looking at. Ken, you said you're reading the Iliad, and you were like trying to track to see if the actual locations existed, if it was based on reality. And you said that you had located an area. Can we pull that up on the map? Because I thought this is kind of what sparked my whole interest in wanting to do this.
Yeah.
And it's the emodnet.eceuropa.eu GeoViewer. It's a map viewer, so it's like a 3D LiDAR. I mean, I don't know. You can do all kinds of different topographical layers on it and everything. It's kind of cool.
The great outdoors. A place where memories are made. Where adventures are born. And where the spirit is rejuvenated. At Pyramid, our commitment goes beyond just providing gear. We're here to connect you to the right product and service, tailor-made for your adventures. Every moment outside is an opportunity to embrace our passion, to learn, to experience, to bond. We believe in the power of the outdoors. And with top-of-the-line gear from Pyramid, you're not just experiencing the wild, you're becoming a part of it. Guided by our vision, we strive every day to share our knowledge and passion for the vast, beautiful world outside. Because when you're armed with the best, every expedition becomes an incredible experience. Pyramid. Adventures in recreation.
So I've got it up. So tell me where to go.
So I'm actually screen sharing on top of it right now. If you want to switch over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just put yours up then. Bam.
So
we know where so they can get a reference on where we're at here.
yeah. So this is the European Union's bathymetry map, which is a map of the land that sits under the water. So here we have North Africa. Here is our Italian boot, and there is Sicily. And if you go in about 50 kilometers south of Sicily in this bathymetry map, this is LiDAR data showing
this is underwater,
showing some very large structures that are anywhere from 90 feet to 270 feet underwater. And to give everybody a size reference, this is, let's see, where's that? That distance, that green line right there is 18 kilometers long.
Holy shit.
Give us English.
Like 9 miles.
Okay. 9 miles. This is a structure. Obviously, this is man-made because 90-degree angles don't happen in nature.
Yep.
There's some sort of intelligence in this build. I thought it was like a harbor. It looked like a harbor to me. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that close to Majorca? That should be pretty close to Majorca. Yep.
So Greece is over here.
And there's the island. Yeah, it's close to the island.
The Greeks have a lot of tales of giants. In the Iliad, the giants are called the Lastrygonians, and it is a race of cannibalistic giants encountered by Odysseus. And him and his landing party tried showing up, and the story goes that they pulled into a harbor, and the giants started throwing probably telephone pole-sized spears at them, and everybody died except for, the couple who made it back.
So as we're looking at this, to the right it gets a lot deeper. That's real steep right there, right?
Yeah. So this is an elevation profile tool. The way the color gradient works is red is close to the surface. And then as you go down the rainbow, you get deeper into the ocean. So we'll start over on this yellow, drag it over to the blue. We get a nice little elevation profile of the depth.
Wow. Yeah.
So the end of that line is 13. What's 13 times 3? 39. So that's 3,900 feet below sea.
The surface.
Yep. Now that red spot right there, that's only 60 feet below the surface.
And look how they are spaced out and the identical shapes. So what are those, like statues or something?
Statues or columns. If we get an elevation profile of those, drag it right across, you can see that they are, symmetrically spaced.
And you're saying there's like no record of this area?
Not that I found.
Painted this. There's like nobody's dove this.
I would imagine some people
this
on X, somebody had literally made a video where they were using this mapping software and they were like, "Oh, what is this?" And then another person commented and said, "Oh, that might be the lost harbor from the Iliad where the giants lived."
And they started off in Greece in the Iliad?
I believe so.
And sailed west?
Yes.
And is there anything behind that to the left there? Or my left? I don't know if I guess it'd be your... Toward the red, behind the red things there. Can you pull that?
Yes. So before, when I was looking at it, I hadn't noticed anything, but today when I was looking around, you can see these look like channels. They look like giant man-made canals.
Yeah, canals or like a boat ramp.
Yeah. And these are probably maybe 10 miles.
Not too far from that structure,
Yeah.
but
you got them up here, you got them down here. And all of this was above water roughly 10,000 years ago.
Wow. Does this map give you the ability to time lapse?
No.
You can't go back and see what it looked like 10,000 years ago?
No.
What it might have looked like? Okay. But all that is the yellow, is that deep? Is that like real deep, the yellow?
Yellow is shallow.
Okay.
So red is shallowest, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple.
Okay.
So the darker towards purple is way deeper.
But there's nothing showing up between the supposed harbor and going to, what is that island that there on the left that you were just, that one?
That, is that Crete? Let's see.
But this is an amazing map, but it only does Europe. It doesn't do North America.
That little island is Malta.
Malta. Okay.
So here's something interesting about Malta is there are a bunch of really, really ancient structures there that show very primitive paintings. And when the archaeologists found those paintings, and this is on record, I forget who was talking about it, but essentially they walked in there, they looked at the paintings, and they wiped them off the wall. And it was because those paintings were like, those cave paintings they find and they're like, oh, these are 50,000 years old.
Yeah.
The paintings were similar to that. So those paintings being present on the island would have kicked the whole narrative way farther back than these guys wanted to admit to, because they said, oh no, the oldest structure on that island is 5,000 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But if we have a structure that has a cave painting in it that's 50,000 years old, that doesn't jive with the modern story.
The Malta has megalithic structures.
Yep.
They have temples there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the stones that they built these things with, again, very similar to the pyramids.
Yeah, giant slabs of really hard, heavy rock, and they're assembled in a very neat fashion, just like we would, build a brick structure today.
And they're like 3,600 BC to 2,500 BC is what they estimate the age of these to be.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And you've got that sunken harbor that goes back to those little ramps there that you're calling. I mean, I don't know, little roads or whatever.
They almost look like shipping canals.
Yeah, looks really familiar to a shipping channel.
Yeah, like again, more harbor activity. But all this was above ground, right? It wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after the last ice age, the sea level rose about 300 feet. So let's take a depth reading.
This is fascinating. That you found this because you started reading the Iliad.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think my phone was listening to me because that story on X popped up not 2 days after I cracked the book open.
So what's the depth? Did you find out what it is?
So this depth right here on this green line goes from minus 193, so almost 600 feet, up to 180, 420. So if there was water here, it would have been really shallow. This green line, we have that peak is 300 feet. But even like our modern shipping lanes, our aircraft carriers can only pull into certain ports because of the berth and how deep it is. So they need, X amount of feet under the carrier to make sure it can pull in and out. So if you got a bunch of giants building these giant ass boats, they're going to dig these shipping channels.
Yeah. So I just did a quick Grok question asking what would be the benefit of hiding the existence of giants. And this is what Grok came up with. Social stability and control. Benefit, preventing mass panic or societal upheaval, which I don't know how that would cause any upheaval by the discovery of giants. The discovery of giants could challenge established historical, scientific, or religious narratives. So there you go. Leading to widespread confusion, fear, or distrust in institutions. We already have that.
Yeah.
Already, I mean, we're there. So keeping it secret could maintain order and preserve the status quo. I disagree with that.
Giants exist. We need to go burn down the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
It's the same reason the Vatican will not open up to all the stuff they have hidden.
Yeah.
Power and influence. Benefit, controlling knowledge to maintain authority. Vatican. Entities like governments, religious institutions, or secret societies might hide evidence of giants to retain narrative control or to use the knowledge for exclusive leverage, advanced technology, or biology derived from giants. Historical artifacts or remains could be suppressed to avoid rewriting textbooks or empowering rival groups with new information. Economic interests benefit protecting industries tied to current historical or scientific paradigms. The discovery of giants might disrupt tourism. I would think that would increase tourism, academia, or even religious economies if sacred sites or narratives are questioned. Museums or academic institutions might lose credibility or funding if their collections or theories are invalidated by giants. These are all, I mean, the opposite would happen if people want to put more money into discovery and funding these museums.
You would think, but we live in a world of a bunch of bitches.
A bunch of bitches. National security. Let's see how.
Oh yeah, it's always national security.
Preventing exploration by adversaries. If giants remains or technology, if they had any, were discovered, hiding their existence could prevent hostile groups or nations from accessing potentially powerful resources or knowledge of cannibalistic telephone pole throwing giants. A government might classify findings to study them secret for military or technological advancements. I mean,
We're past that now. We're past that. We got drone warfare.
We got AI, yeah, we got robots and all that. But I mean, Ken and I were talking about this too. I mean, imagine if you had 10 giants, 20-foot tall individuals. That was your secret soldiers, and they just went into a fucking area and just took it over.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard to identify.
Well, they wouldn't know what the hell it was because they'd never seen anything like that.
And giants don't exist, so you wouldn't be able to argue with the battle damage assessment.
Shock and awe.
Exactly. There's no battle damage assessment at that point.
Cultural.
We don't know what happened.
And avoiding disruption of cultural or religious benefits, giants might conflict with foundational myths or sacred texts.
That's the big one.
They're in the Bible. The Bible already says there's giants. So,
but there's no magic in the Bible, but it's literally all over the Bible. But there's no magic. Magic's bad and it's evil, and there's no magic in the Bible.
Scientific gatekeeping. I think that's more the reason is the scientific gatekeeping. If, it's actually happening. Archaeologists or anthropologists might dismiss or hide evidence of giants to avoid security of long-held theories about human evolution, which, people are already debunking that with Graham Hancock, those guys. It's like, you guys are way off on your dates on all this shit.
Yeah.
The world is much older than what you guys are giving it credit for.
Well, look at the
I believe that we could have had civilizations like our own 3 times over at least already.
Yeah.
Where we've built up, we've died for whatever reason, had to start over, re-evolve, and do it all over again, just in a different fashion.
Yeah, the dinosaur asteroid that killed all the dinosaurs, it took 20 years from the time that theory was proposed until they started teaching it in schools. The first guy who proposed it, they were like, nope, you're crazy. That didn't happen. That's impossible. They kicked him out of, all the communities, and they said, no, this guy isn't serious. And he just kept hitting it, and more evidence piled up. And finally, relentingly, they were like, okay, I guess a giant asteroid did hit right there. And that's how archaeology has always gone. You know, they say, oh, I'm the one who found this site, so this is what I think happened. And that guy gets all the funding, he takes his tour, he goes to the museums, yada yada. 20 years later, somebody comes by and they're like, actually, I think it's this. And the entire community goes, no, it's not. This guy already figured it out. Shut up.
Exactly. Unfortunately, science is very theoretical.
Yeah. I mean, even atoms are still theoretical. Weren't we talking about that? It's like nobody's actually ever seen an atom. It's just theory.
They photographed one, but
No.
yeah, they did. But it's a little dot of light, so it's not the protons and neutrons that you think of.
They think that's what it is. They don't know for sure. So they theorize that that's what it is.
Yeah.
But they don't actually know. But we base all of our, biology and everything on the existence of atoms and protons and neutrons, and it seems to work, based on that theory. But you've got those links that I sent. Pull up some of these other areas where giants have been reported, and do your little overlays like you're doing with this, and let's see if we might be able to find maybe some of this cool topography. I guess is that what it's called?
Uh-huh.
It's actually bottomography because it's underneath. But ton like that.
That was actually really good. I like that one.
Okay, so the second one is Crete, Greece. Let's see if we can get it.
And while you're looking that up, we were talking about hoaxes and misrepresentations that have gone on throughout the years due to fossil misidentification. The hoaxes, people like P.T. Barnum, they're in it just to make a buck.
Yep.
Conspiracy theories, where people are just, they're trying to write these books and make money off their books on these conspiracy theories. I think the Smithsonian actually is covering up some shit because there's been too many stories where 8 foot, 11 foot, or taller have been found, and the Smithsonian requested they send the bones. They sent the bones to the Smithsonian, but the Smithsonian has no records.
And once it goes there, it'll never come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Deep archives and it just disappears into this void. It's like trying to call customer support at AT&T. It's just going to go into a void.
It's
try to reach Amazon support. Good luck.
Hey, unless you're calling Firebird Target support, you're going to get that every time, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I got to answer. Damn it.
You're looking at him right there.
Yeah.
Which one are we looking at, Ken?
So this is around the island of Crete in Greece.
Okay.
And essentially I'm just looking for, 90-degree angles.
Human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the time too, when you're looking at this LiDAR data, you get what's called like scan fuzz, where there's a pattern created by the instrument that's collecting this data, and it's not actually like a natural phenomenon. So this grid pattern right here is just caused by whatever sensor was scanning that area.
Yeah.
So some people might look at that and be like, "Oh, that's something."
What about Norway? Is it part of this map? Would
See.
Norway be? Because there's one on the list. Svalbard, Norway.
So
If you go to that email I sent, there's a link, and it'll put you right on it. and then you can do your magic with the scan in there.
So Svalbard is way up here.
How do you know where Svalbard is?
Because I've got Google Maps open.
I didn't know if I said it right. So the yellow, that's shallow. Red is even more shallow.
Yeah.
So any structures should show up pretty.
A famous port for fishing for eelfish. Ugh.
Isn't that where that nasty stuff is that you ate that time?
Yep, Shistroming.
You put what? Where?
Exactly. Shit went south quick.
Shistroming.
Shistroming.
Yeah, if you click on that link, it should take you right to the area.
So I clicked on the link in the email, and the map that we're on came up, but it didn't have any location or
Oh, okay. Fucking Grok.
filters on it. So I'm trying to
Come on, Grok, do better.
do it backwards.
A lot of the modern, and I say modern, but in the last 100 or so years, giants have come from a lot of groups and even parents like trying to control certain,
Like fairy tales to control the children, scare them.
scare children, keep people from traveling outside of their own village groups, trying to keep people into a certain area without exploring beyond what people would want them to go. Hell, even
Right? I mean, my parents told me that if I ate too much chocolate, I would get worms. And I believed it.
the modern mythological giants, a lot comes from not the unknown, just not knowing, and they will use them to scare, like even help. There's monsters that people in Africa will come up with to scare their children into being good, like the Takalash.
Control. It's all about control.
Yeah.
It's all about Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
So we're
So
not
a
seeing
lot of
anything.
those.
Norway.
No, and a lot of the locations you sent are land-based sites. So like mountains in Iraq and in Lebanon.
Yeah. There's actually in Franklin, Tennessee, just down the road from me, a couple of places. They're saying these Indian mounds, these giant burial Indian mounds were built by giants. Though they don't have any fossils or anything to. Convenient how you can't dig up Indian burial mounds too,
Yep.
It's like it's illegal to do that. But with LiDAR, you think you'd be able to get in there and you get some sort of, image of what's underneath.
Yep.
That's not digging.
It's scanning.
Well, that's the problem that all the Egyptologists are running into right now is
the government not allowing them to do that.
Yeah, and we have some very, very cool satellite-based sensors that essentially allow us to see pockets of, voids under structures. And they have found in the past 2 years, they have found basically 10-acre voids under the pyramids.
Yes.
Like just gigantic chambers and walkways. And in the ancient Egyptian legend, when Herodotus is talking to the priests, they said it took 10 years to build all of the subterranean structures. And then it took 20 years for them to build the pyramids. So if you imagine the pyramids are massive and we can see them above ground, they spent 10 years digging something underground.
Huh.
Egypt is a very interesting place, and very even the Egyptologists themselves are very shady in what they want people to know and what they don't want people to know. What's that guy's name? Zihan
He was on
Hawass?
Rogan.
Sorry, Zahawi Hawass.
Yeah. Notorious crook, scam artist, piece of shit.
Yeah.
Everything that is, even if it's not from Egypt, he'll go to every country and say, "Oh, this is part of this collection," and he will go and extort other countries just to take their riches and say it's part of a collection. He will only allow certain digs. He wants to be the first person in on everything,
Yep.
and it's only to enrich himself. He's not in it for history. He's not in it for anything but enriching himself. He's just another piece of shit dictator.
Well, he's one of those that, again, the control aspect.
It's all about control. He doesn't care about history. He doesn't care about the items. He doesn't care about telling the story. He only cares about himself, his fame, and his money.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate. They don't want history to be told. He wants his version of history to be told. And he wants to be rich and famous at any cost, at anybody's life.
The government backs him. The Egyptian government backs him on that, because I mean, look at their tourism that they're getting from the pyramids.
Yeah, and it's
oh yeah,
they don't want the rich history of Egypt to be told. They want his version of Egypt to be told.
Yeah,
and
I think they want to plunder it for themselves also.
Oh yeah, it's
get all the riches for themselves.
It's a complete train wreck, and that's unfortunate. History belongs to everybody, not just one group.
History belongs to the victors.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And if they would actually share the history of Egypt with everybody, it would be a great benefit to the world. But unfortunately, with people like him having power, it'll never happen, and it will probably be lost to history forever, and the story will never get told.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys, because we're gonna wrap it up because Ken's got to go. What are your thoughts on giants? Do you think giants actually existed? And I'm not talking about the pituitary, gland disorder, but actual real live giants. 20 feet tall, 13 feet tall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe there were giants. Being probably in the 20s feet tall, probably that might have been, it could have been difficult, but yes, I believe above 10 feet, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think
completely healthy living life. Yes, that's 100% plausible and easy to imagine.
Yeah, I think it's very plausible, and especially if you don't try to say that they were Homo sapiens, they were some other humanoid species of humans, that the metabolism, the biology, was adapted to carry that size, that weight, that volume, and just like the dinosaurs and everything, it is eventually, through attrition, whatever caused it, died out.
Yes.
And we're where we're at today, where we're smaller, we're more compact, we're because population has a lot to do with that too. I think, you adapt to your, like you said earlier, Ton, you adapt to your cage.
Yep. It's exactly it. As an area fills in, you just like any other animal or creature on Earth, you can only grow to the size of your environment.
Yeah. I think that has a big part in our evolution into where we're at today.
Yeah.
Well, and then they know that the trees in North America, like they all used to be old growth redwood sized trees, where the diameter of the tree was 20 feet, you know? So if that's the size of the plant life, and then you also had woolly mammoths that were giant, and you had saber-toothed tigers that were, 4 times the size of a lion, it's not too hard to come to the conclusion that people could have also been that big. And it would have been an environmental factor, whether it was the oxygen levels in the atmosphere making everything get super big. I've heard theories about the position of Earth around the galactic center influences the animals and the plants on Earth. So there's parts of the galaxy that are super hostile to life, and that's when we see all these resets and catastrophes and extinction events, because we go through, asteroid fields, or there's other planets that bring bad shit with it. And then there's these golden zones in the galaxy where, there's less solar radiation. We don't have to deal with all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like a galactic Goldilocks zone where conditions are just right.
See, that was a whole other topic that I was going to get into, but I'm not going to get into it because I was going to all right, if, which planet would be ideally suited for a race of giants?
The moon.
And no. No. I mean, there's nothing there. There's no growth, no vegetation, no anything. But that's something that I had prepared. I'm not going to go into it, but there was
that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show.
Kepler 44-2b is a planet.
Yeah.
That would be good. And there's a moon Titan.
Uh-huh.
The moon Titan. If certain biological things were changed where we're not breathing oxygen and we're breathing something else, but I'm not going to get into that. So it was kind of interesting, but I just really wanted to hear Ken's take and Tun's take on giants, and maybe show some of these locations of actual where things actually happened, and like that place down there off of Italy, off the coast of Italy down there. That's amazing. I can't believe that there's no record of that, and there's like no.
They're actually still searching that area right now. They found a few caves close, and I say close, within 100 miles of there, but they're searching that whole area in excavations as of, I think, 2020.
Somebody needs to send that to Josh Gates and have him do his little exploration show.
If I won the lottery, I would take an expedition there tomorrow.
I'll tell you what, I bought a ticket today. If I win, that's where we're going. We're taking the show to Crete, baby.
I'm there.
We're going.
That'd be badass.
Any final thoughts, words on giants? Anyone?
They had to. I 100% would say there was a time. There was a time.
Yeah.
I think there's just too many references in history to them. So I think there had to have been something. Maybe there's some exaggerations, like Tun said. Maybe they weren't 20 feet tall, but 10, 12 feet tall. Yeah. I think it's definitely possible.
There was a time.
Just think if we can actually, and maybe they have, maybe that's why they're hiding the bones, and they're Jurassic Parking those people.
They just did it with a dire wolf. A couple months ago, they brought a dire wolf back.
Yeah, that dude was on Joe Rogan. I listened to that episode. They brought back the dire wolves. That's insane. So Jurassic Park is real, dude.
Yep.
They're waiting to bring back the giants.
They can do it. I would not be surprised if there was a Jurassic World somewhere. They've taken one of these islands and they've actually repopulated with fucking dinosaurs and shit.
Go to South America. We have the largest frozen zoo in San Diego. And there's laws in the U.S. that doesn't allow them to reanimate certain creatures, but it's completely legal in South America where they do.
Yeah.
Yep. They're allowed to do it there. So a lot of specimens get experimented on down there where there's no laws.
And that's where it needs to happen. Keep it there. But like some of these like direwolf, reintroducing the direwolf to our ecosystem would be devastating.
Oh yes, but
it would be completely devastating. They would wipe out everything, and
just like the dipshit in Egypt, they don't care. They want the money now.
Yeah. But I can see some benefits in bringing some things back, being able to, study them a little more in depth. Maybe there's some health benefits, or something that could be gained from it. But again, the pharmaceutical companies are going to, keep that stuff, and we'll never see it. Maybe they've already come up with a cure to cancer.
But bringing the thylacine back to Tasmania to stabilize the animals back there, something that's only gone extinct in the last 50 years.
I think there was a Coca-Cola formula that cured cancer, and they've got it locked up. Some pharmaceutical company bought it, and
still causes tooth rot.
Gut rot. Yeah, you get worms. You drink too much Coke, you're going to get worms. Yeah. All right, guys, that does it for this episode. It's been fun. I really enjoyed it. We need to do more stuff like this.
I enjoyed this one.
What should we explore next? What should be the next topic that we explore?
Did the U.S. invent Lyme disease in the 1960s?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
I was thinking more mythology, like we kind of explored today, with giants. But we could do that one too.
Oh, we can do all kinds of mythological creatures.
But the next guest is not it's not this book, Denied Access. It's Kyle Mills with Fade In. And that's going to be a fun episode. So I'm looking forward to that. Do you want to join us, Ton, for that one?
Yeah, when is it?
Next week. Be next week.
When I get back to the factory, if everybody's doing their job, yes.
Okay.
While the boss is away, the kids are at play.
Oh, yes.
So there we go. So make sure you guys go to Firebird Targets. Use the code TL15. You can get 15% off anything at Firebird Targets. And I'm looking for the link. There it is. Shaboom. FirebirdTargets.com, code TL15, 15% off. And then if you're in Tennessee, Gold's Gym of Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
Get in touch with Ken, 615-956-6016, extension 2. It's extension 212.
Oh, I guess I don't have a Gold's Gym by me in Texas, so I can't go.
But you're in Knoxville.
They got them in Knoxville.
Yeah, they got them in Knoxville. You're in Knoxville,
I'm working,
buddy.
I got to throw me into that bus, bro.
And then Seal One, go to seal1.com, use the code LEADHEAD, you get 25% off. I meant to look to see if they were going to be at Goals. I don't think they're.
Nope, but the suppressor cleaner showed up, and it is badass.
Did you get it?
Oh yeah, it showed up, and I used it within 20 minutes of it showing up.
Awesome.
Dude,
Dwight
amazing.
Takes care of you guys. So thank you, Dwight, for that.
Thank you, Dwight.
I'm going to bring a big packet of samples of Seal One with me. So we'll be handing those out at the booth. So if you're in Knoxville, come by, see us at, I don't know the booth number. I don't remember what it was.
1005.
1005. I mean, it's not that big of a place. So just walk around. You'll find us. You'll see us walking around. Say hey.
Is that
Ken,
the
if you're off, come visit.
The Seal 1, is that pack of stuff you dropped off at the gym for me?
Still one.
Yeah, that stuff smells good.
Yeah, it's and this is their aerosol, so they got their aerosols back in stock. I
Nice.
love the aerosols. So check them out. That's all I got for now, Leadhead. So until the next episode, as always, keep your loved ones close
And your firearms closer.
and your giants' bones don't stick to the Smithsonian. 'Cause you won't-
No shit.
She said she didn't our brain.